With the release of an official transcript of the 4-hour closed-door testimony before the House Oversight Committee still pending, here is what we know about what former Biden, a family business partner, Devon Archer, reportedly had to say. During some 20 meetings with foreign business associates, Hunter Biden called his then vice president father and put him on speakerphone for the whole room to hear. Democrats and Hunter Biden's legal team have tried to paint a picture of casual conversations, nothing business related, and that Hunter was only selling the illusion of access to his father. But Archer's testimony contradicts the president's own words.
I've never discussed my business or their business, my sons or daughters, and I've never discussed them. You know, there's not one single bit of evidence, not one little tiny bit, to suggest anything done was wrong. I've never spoken to my son about those.
However, according to Just the News, Archer told lawmakers that Burisma Holdings pressured Hunter in December of 2015 to deal with a Ukrainian prosecutor, Viktor Shokin, who was investigating the firm for corruption. Days later, during a visit by then Vice President Biden, who dangled $1 billion in U.S. aid like a carrot on a stick, the Ukrainian government fired Shokin. Burisma paid Hunter up to $1 million a year to serve on its board because of his family brand, according to Archer. And it appears the Devon Archer testimony is just the tip of the iceberg for the Biden family's legal challenges. House Oversight Committee Chair James Comer says Joe Biden's Treasury Department has several dozen more suspicious activity reports known as SARs relating to the Bidens. Breitbart News reports last week Comer revealed the Biden family business caused 6 banks to flag more than 170 large amounts of money in SARs to the Treasury for review.
It's unprecedented. As someone who's been involved in banking, there's never been an instance that I've ever heard of, or in talking to bankers around America, where a family has been involved in so many suspicious activity reports. This is where the bank files notice with the Treasury Department that they fear their client is engaged in some type of criminal activity. This is very serious.
In March, Comer obtained SARs on Biden associate Rob Walker, which revealed he received a $3 million wire transfer from CEFC China Energy Company in 2017. 4 Biden family members, Hunter, James, Holly, and one unidentified Biden, were paid a total of $1.3 million from the transfer. In May, Comer also revealed a $10 million business scheme in Romania and China involving the Bidens. Tim?
Fewer House Republicans want to know what happened with Hunter Biden's plea deal. Another investigation was launched on Monday into how, as House Republicans contend, the Justice Department messed up a plea deal with Hunter Biden so badly that the judge sent them back to the drawing board. According to the Washington Times, Judge Mary Ellen Norica ripped the deal apart, saying in part that it contained atypical provisions. During questioning, several parts of the agreement forced federal prosecutors to acknowledge that there was no precedent for such an arrangement. One provision ruled out prosecutions for crimes beyond the scope of the case, and another limited the government's authority to prosecute Mr. Biden should he violate the terms of the deal. In a letter to Attorney General Merrick Garland, the committee chairman Jim Jordan, Jason Smith, and James Comer stated the department's unusual plea and pretrial diversion agreements with Mr. Biden raise serious concerns, especially when combined with recent whistleblower allegations that the department has provided preferential treatment toward President Biden's son in the course of its investigation and proposed resolution of his alleged criminal conduct. Both sides are believed to be ironing out the issues that Judge Norica raised during the hearing last week. Mike?
Tim, right now let's talk with constitutional attorney and Victory News contributor KrisAnne Hall. KrisAnne, welcome to Victory News.
Thank you so much.
KrisAnne, Republican committee leaders told the DOJ unusual plea and pretrial diversion agreements with Hunter Biden raised serious concerns about preferential treatment. Judge Norica tossed the plea deal. Did she make the right decision, and what type of plea deal will they bring back, do you think, in the next 30 days?
Well, I'm not only a constitutional attorney, Mike, but I was a prosecutor for nearly a decade, so plea deals were an everyday thing for me. And I can tell you that this plea deal is unusual because it really is just a piece of paper and ink. By eliminating the consequences for violating the plea deal, you eliminate the efficacy and even reason for the plea deal altogether. Pretrial diversion is created for people who are first-time criminal offenders so they don't mess up their clean record as long as they follow particular guidelines and don't violate the provisions or the law. I think the way they've written this plea deal tells me that they fully expect Hunter to violate the provisions and violate law in the future, so they don't want to have to hold him uphold the consequences.
Incredible. Well, now that Devon Archer's testimony is in the books, pointing to Joe Biden joining his son on the phone with clients almost 24 times, where should the investigative committee members focus their attention going forward?
You know, it is really beginning to become frustrating the way we are focused on committee hearings and questions and investigations, and yet there doesn't seem to be much focus on accountability and consequences. I think the American people as a whole are really getting weary of all of these hearings and never seeing any accountability. I mean, we can't look at a congressional hearing or any kind of investigation that's happened in a very long time and actually find someone being held accountable.
Yeah, I think the theme of the administration so far seems to be a lack of consequences.